Chapter 72. Preparations for a coming storm. In the meantime, however, Hermes, the messenger and singer from Caesarea Philippi, went up the mountain to see how things were going with the burnt-out city, and found it still in powerful flames here and there. But at the same time he also discovered that a very violent storm was beginning to form at a very rapid pace in the direction of the city, and in his opinion it would not be long before it would begin. He now came back down from the mountain as a meteorological prophet and said to old Mark, "Dear neighbour, there are so many guests here, and it will hardly be half an hour before we will all be standing under the most violent storm. Have you roof enough to protect us from all sorts of adversity? For with such a storm, it is not safe to stand in the open." I don't mean to say too much about wind and rain, but hail and lightning are really a little too uncomfortable to be borne out in the open. If you have too little roof, then we should make provisions. Mark says, "As long as the one who is here says nothing and orders nothing, there is certainly no danger. This one is our very best and most reliable everything. If he wants provisions to be made, however, then they will be made in an instant. Therefore, my friend and neighbour, be unconcerned. Everything will be sorted out in the best way." I call both of them and say to Mark, "The storm that will soon be over us will give us a lot of adversity. Therefore, some roofs, as in Hermes' opinion, would be good. But the material is quite lacking. Where can one find it in such a great hurry?" Mark says, "Lord, as long as you are with us and among us, I say, as I said before to friend Hermes, you are our very best all in all, and we need no better and more durable." These words by old Mark are now repeated by many bystanders loudly and full of trust, and I say, "Let it be so then." But if a strong hailstorm would come, accompanied by lightning and cloudburst? Everyone says, "Lord, let in addition an unheard-of earthquake shake all the mountains, and let the stars fall from heaven. We will still laugh heartily in your presence, for what can harm us if your all-powerful hand protects us?" I say, "You must also speak like this in the storm, and in the danger in your hearts, and not only with your mouths as you speak now. Then my protection will serve you through your faith and your living trust. But if you begin to fail in the danger, then my protection will not do you any particular good." Everyone says, "O Lord, who will be swayed in their faith and trust in you?" But we nonetheless take possession of your love above all, and your all-powerful will. For if you, O Lord, hold back your will, we will be in a very bad situation despite all our faith and trust. But you are extremely good and just, and you will not want to harm our trust. I say, "Oh, by no means. You should get to know on this very evening the power and magnificence of God. But in addition, this storm must come for the sake of the burning city. Otherwise, it will burn for another few days. It will last for about 3 hours, as you have never experienced before. And nevertheless, it will bring more use than harm. But nonetheless, let us go now out on the sea, for there our presence will be most necessary. You will also be able to see the angry elements the easiest, and the magnificence of God will be more illuminating to you there than under a roof. At these words, everyone now hurries out onto the calm sea. But one can already see the black clouds moving closer, and also over the eastern and southern mountains, massive clouds are building up. And everyone now realizes that this will be a massive storm. Over the sea, however, a number of storm birds are immediately showing up. Uran, therefore, begins to look after his beautiful and expensive tents. He comes to me and asks me to take under my protection his travelling treasure. For at the sight of such a giant storm, the tents might well be blown away. I say, "Didn't I tell you then how the magnificence of God will be revealed here the most clearly? How can you still be concerned with your pitiful tents, as if any salvation of the world lay within them? Look, the tents are large and very spacious. When the storm stands above us with all its force, let the female guests go in, and also those males who might take too great fright. For the storm will be no joke by any means. But nothing will happen to your beautiful tents, except that they will get a bit wet." Uran says, "I thank you for this prophecy, which has now as good as come true. My tents, which certainly do not let in a single drop of water even at the heaviest rainstorm, are now all at the disposal of those who want to use them. I myself will, however, remain outside with you, O Lord." I say, "Aren't you afraid of the hail?" Uran says, "I have already shared my opinion with all the others, and now I say once more with the wise saying of the Romans, Si fractus illabetur orbis, impavidum ferient ruinae. Even if the world collapse, the intrepid will top the ruins." Editor. I say, very well. But now the mutual storm clouds are beginning to shake their damp hands, and it will therefore soon get going. Also on the sea, crashing waves can be seen here and there, and it is therefore time for the frightened to go into the dry. Fish are jumping out of the water in order to catch the low-flying mosquitoes. Likewise, a constantly growing number of seagulls and storm petrels are frolicking over the surface of the water and helping the fish to reduce the number of mosquitoes. The water becomes very rough in places, and in the high air the clouds are becoming ever denser and more colourful. In the west the thunder rolls incessantly, and the hurricanes out at sea begin their frightful and booming battle.